Some swim to the deep sea, some stay tethered to the stream. Wohi Town had no rivers, only a small trickling stream. Back when fireflies still glowed in the dark, summer nights in Wohi were always filled with swarms of the tiny luminous insects. But few people paid them any mind, at least Chen Jiao did not. 17 years old, the girl sat in front of her family's grocery store, chin resting in her hand, watching passers-by brush past one another. The moon rose, and the sound of the stream gurgled merrily like a traveling song. The great myrtle tree next door poked out half its branches, lively and full. She yawned lazily, ready to doze off, when the door was knocked sharply. 17-old Shen Yujingji was hardly the dashing, charming type. He was truly thin, truly pale, beneath the amber glow of the incandescent light. He looked stiff and nervous, yet his eyes were clear as a spring. "What can I get you?" Chen Jiao stood up slowly, grinning. "Cigarettes." He froze for a moment, then spoke softly. "You smoke?" The girl raised an eyebrow, eyeing him suspiciously. Then she looked down with a faint, teasing smile, unlocked the glass cabinet. "Which kind? Pick for yourself." "That one?" Though hesitant in manner, Shen Yujingji knew exactly what he wanted. He pointed to a particular pack. It was a soft yellow pack, printed with a cluster of blooming plum blossoms. "Oh, red plum," Chen Jiao said, her delicate brows knitting slightly. It was cheap, a favorite among heavy smokers. For this stick-thin boy, appearances really could be deceiving. "Here." She took a pack from the cabinet, ready to hand it over. But halfway, she pulled it back. Openly, she tore off the plastic wrapping, neatly poked a hole in the seal, slipped one cigarette into her pocket, then calmly held out the pack. "Hush money." She looked at him, smiling meaningfully. "Bold, yet cute." Shen Yujingji stared, dumbfounded. It was 1998. In underdeveloped Wohi Town, there was only one middle school, and for two fellow students, their first conversation had happened like this. Years later, long after Shen Yujingji had grown used to the rapid changes technology brought to daily life, he still thought back to that cool, breezy night. Her cunning smile, that red plum pack missing one cigarette. After 2011, the soft yellow minus packaged red plum gradually vanished from the cigarette market, just like their lost and traceable youth. But at 17, Shen Yujingji was still a shy, mild-tempered boy. Too embarrassed to argue with her, he stared at her awkwardly for a long while, opening his mouth several times but saying nothing. After a stalemate, seeing she truly had no intention of returning the cigarette, he turned and left in a huff. Watching Shen Yujingji's retreating back, Chen Jiao closed the store door happily and hurried toward her best friend Fang Wan's house across the stream. In those poor days without mobile phones, people communicated mostly by shouting. "Wan, I got revenge for you," the girl yelled at the top of her lungs downstairs. "What?" The girl doing her homework pushed open the window, utterly confused. "That stick-thin kid who always pushes you into second place, I just messed with him a little." "Did you hit him?" Fang Wan panicked. "Don't be silly, I don't go around fighting people. Just a tiny prank." Chen Jiao could barely contain her after thinking about Shen Yujingji's expression. 1 foot drawing circles on the ground obstinately. The moon was briefly covered by dark clouds. A warm, stuffy breeze brushed the girl's cheek. Chen Jiao remembered something important and did not dare delay. She ran back home in a flash. She pushed the door open quietly. Sure enough, an angry middle-aged voice came from inside Chen Jiao. "Where have you been running off to? Do you even want to study anymore?" Chen Jiao flinched and quickly apologized. "Dad, I'm sorry. I'll do my homework right now. Please don't hit me." When Shen Yujingji returned home and handed the red plum pack missing one cigarette to Ruan Xiaoyun, her face looked even grimmer than it did every year when they went to pay respects to Xian's father. "What happened?" "Someone took one." "Who would steal a single cigarette from you? Do you think I'm stupid?" Furious that her carefully raised son had taken to lying, she gripped a closed drawing stick tightly. She was about to strike when her late husband's elder brother, who had come from the city to visit them, stepped through the door. Eugene G. Sister minus and minus law. Ruan Xiaoyun could not be rude to her husband's brother. Reluctantly, she put down the stick and told Shen Eugene Ji to pour tea. A faint smile finally appeared on her perpetually gloomy face. Brother, please sit. Shen Eugene Ji narrowly escaped punishment, his back soaked in cold sweat. He hurried to the kitchen to make tea. After sipping the cold tea, the uncle stated his reason for coming. Eugene Ji will take the college entrance exam next year. Do you plan to move back to the city? Naturally, Ruan Xiaoyan replied quickly, before Shen Eugene Ji could speak. She had waited years for this day. How was Eugene Ji's academic performance these days? First place every year. Though Ruan Xiaoyun smiled modestly, pride gleamed in her eyes. Good. Better than my unfilial son. The uncle sighed quietly, his expression a mix of relief and something unreadable. Everyone loved to compare, even relatives. Though Ruan Xiaoyun had led an unlucky life, her highly expected son had never let her lose face in front of others. After the uncle left, Ruan Xiaoyun's anger faded somewhat. She took out a red plum cigarette, lit it, and sent Shen Eugene Ji back to his bedroom to study. Less than a year until the exam, she reminded him. Pacing past his door, thin smoke curled around her. She stared at the moonlight through the screen window, as if recalling some sweet old days. She smiled gently, and the crow's feet at the corners of her eyes softened. The next day, Fang Wan grabbed Shen Jiaoi by the hem and insisted they go apologize to Shen Eugene Ji. She pressed a small note of change into Chen Jiaoi's hand firmly. First go buy him a glass of sour plum juice. Then we'll say sorry together. Chen Jiaoi looked at her as if she were crazy. Aren't you always complaining to me that HES first and jury second every year? That you can't stand him? I can't stand him. But even a competition should be fair and square. Fang Wan said sternly. You stole his cigarette. Did you know it was for his mother? Anchuan is strict with Eugene Ji. After what you did yesterday, he probably got beaten. Chen Jiaoi was even more confused. Were you eavesdropping on their family? How do you even know he got beaten? Fang Wan blushed. Nonsense. Our houses are close. I've heard things about his family. His father died saving someone in the stream drowned. That lousy nameless little stream? You are pulling my leg, Shen Jiaoi scoffed. Fang Wan decided there was no reasoning with this troublemaking girl. She simply grabbed her and dragged her to Shen Eugene Ji's classroom. Big whale, get out here. Shen Jiaoi shouted recklessly. Everyone turned around, wondering what had gotten into the academically hopeless troublemaker. Shen Eugene Ji was equally confused. Only when Chen Jiaoi at him arrogantly did he realize Big Whale referred to several meters apart. Chen Jiaoi wore her school uniform that day. Her slender limbs relaxed, full of lively beauty, not wanting to draw attention. Chen Eugene Ji walked out quietly. Here. Chen Jiaoi shoved a cup of sour plum juice into his hand, grumpy refusing to say sorry. Fang Wan had to smooth things over. Jiaoi is my best friend. She played a prank yesterday. I apologize on her behalf. I hope you won't take it to heart. Shen Eugene Ji frowned slightly. He thought the short minus-haired girl speaking looked familiar, the one who always ended up second to him. He found this pair of best friends rather amusing, and pressed his lips together, restrained lie. But Chen Jiaoi know had a short fuse. Seeing him almost smile, she snapped immediately. What are you laughing at? Didn't your mom beat you hard enough? With that, she turned and left. Fang Wan, seeing the situation spiral out of control, apologized hurriedly to Shen Eugene Ji before chasing after her friend. Chen Jiaoi's long legs carried her far away in an instant. Shen Eugene Ji stared at the two faint figures disappearing around the stairwell corner. His expression slowly darkened. Ruan Xiaoyun believed in the old saying that spare the rod and spoil the child. She had chased him around the house beating him since he was little. The whole town knew. He just did not understand how this mischievous troublemaker had heard about his humiliating beatings. His fragile pride felt as if it had been squeezed hard, wobbling unsteadily. That night, after helping her father unload a new shipment of goods, Chen Jowie wiped the fine sweat from her face and leaned idly against a roadside concrete wall, staring blankly. Having grown up without a mother, Chen Jowie had been raised roughly, while other children were held in arms. Lifted high, spoiled and cherished, she had crawled around on the ground. She had even learned to walk by holding on to walls. Years ago, the town had been unsafe. Chen Dad had opened a martial arts school to make a living, teaching self-defense. Life had been decent. But as people focused on making money, the martial arts school became nothing more than a pretentious pastime, with few visitors. And Dad had no choice but to close it and open this grocery store in front of their house. More than 10 years had passed. There was little entertainment in Milwaukee town at night. Every household closed their doors. Only scattered lights dotting the endless dark, quiet and distant. Chen Jowie thought for a moment, then pulled out the crumpled red plum cigarette from her pocket. Some people were just born looking easy to tease, not ugly, but utterly innocent, as if one could not help but mess with them. But remembering Fang Wan's distressed face, she felt a soft, guilty twinge in her heart. They had parted on bad terms after school. She made up her mind to visit Fang Wan that night, while old Chen was out drinking at someone else's house, and apologized to her best friend. That was just how she was, half-mouthed, soft-heart. Chen Jowie hated studying, so she felt no urgency about treasuring time. She wandered along slowly, taking in the scenery. Passing a dark alley, her ears pricked up. She faintly heard noisy voices inside. She listened more closely, and her blood boiled. Some thugs were trying to extort someone, right there in their tiny town. She looked around for a makeshift weapon, but then thought of her father's fierce scowl and lost her enthusiasm, deciding against it. But she could not just leave. The girl might be careless at times, but she hated injustice with a passion. Remembering how Fang Wan always told her to use her head, she thought hard and finally came up with a plan. She squeezed her throat and cried, "Really help! Officer! Someone stole my bag." "What? Where?" She lowered her voice, imitating a man's tone, playing both parts. Sure enough, commotion broke out deep in the alley. "Is the patrol station nearby?" "No idea. Forget it. If we get caught, we can't explain ourselves. Lucky for you today. Next time, it won't be so easy." The leader gritted his teeth and waved his men away. The alley gradually fell silent. Chen Jowie was in high spirits, clenching her fists, ready to go see who the unlucky victim she had saved was. To her surprise, she saw a familiar face. Big Whale. Chen Jowie. They stared at each other. "What are you doing here?" Chen Jowie said unhappily. She had dreamed of being a chivalrous heroine, but saving this guy was another matter. "Buying cigarettes for my mom." In the dark, a flicker of awkwardness crossed Chen Eugene's face. Chen Jowie burst out laughing. "Are you really that scared of me? My store's way closer and safer." "I'm not scared." The boy lifted his chin, his eyes still bright in the dark. "I just don't really want to see you." "Then you must be pretty annoyed getting saved by someone you don't want to see." Chen Jowie grinned and winked at him. Before Chen Eugene could reply, she made up his mind for him. "Remember to buy me sour plum juice at school tomorrow. Don't be shy. Consider it your thank minus your gift. We'll call it even. Old scores and new. Fair deal, right?" "What arrogance!" Chen Eugene was about to object when she skipped away. He stood there, not knowing whether to chase after her or not. For the first time, he felt a kind of frustrated irritation. There really were people in this world who, even after doing something great, still managed to be incredibly annoying. But early the next morning, Chen Jowie received Chen Eugene's thank minus you gift as promised. She examined the plastic cup and found the ice had completely melted, meaning he had left it on her desk very early. Did he really want to avoid her that badly? Chen Jiaoyi touched her nose. She, on the other hand, had been looking forward to seeing him. After Chen Jiaoyi's sincere apology the previous night, Fang Wan had already forgiven her. When she saw the drink on Chen Jiaoyi's desk that day, she was even more nervous than her friend. She looked around cautiously before leaning over. Who gave this to you? In an era where puppy love was feared more than floods, Fang Wan worried that the unstudious Chen Jiaoyi might lose her head and go down the wrong path. But Chen Jiaoyi did not care. An ungrateful jerk. I don't believe you. Spit it out. Believe it or not. Chen Jiaoyi pouted and yawned. Even with senior year approaching, she still could not get used to getting up at 6:30 every morning. Old Chen had yelled at her, calling her good minus for minus nothing, like a loach in the stream, slippery, drifting with the current, never amounting to anything. He had smiled and nodded, agreeing wholeheartedly. Chen Jiaoyi's ambition was to be the landlady of the shabby grocery store in Luohe town, watching the moon and flowers in her free time, taking naps whenever she wanted. How could a swallow understand the ambition of a swan? But how could a swan understand the joy of a swallow? People just had different dreams. Shan Yujinji, though, was different. That night at home, Ruan Xiaoyun pulled her son seriously in front of her. Your uncle said his fruit business in the city has expanded recently and needs help. He'd like to go assist. But you're about to take the college entrance exam. We've decided to move back together after you graduate. She phrased it gently, but Shen Yujinji understood perfectly. Ruan Xiaoyun meant that after graduation next year, he must get into a university in the city. She had always been proud and looked down on ordinary colleges. With the recent college expansion, Shen Yujinji was finally closer to her dream of him attending a top university. Her husband had died accidentally more than 10 years ago. She had raised this son single-mindedly. Not only reasonable requests, even unreasonable ones Shen Yujinji had never disobeyed. He nodded solemnly. Ruan Xiaoyun's brow relaxed. Then go study. Shen Yujinji turned and disappeared into his bedroom. It drizzled lightly that night. Luohe town had no industrial pollution. When it rained, the air smelled especially fresh. Shen Yujinji pushed open a window and saw the girls passing by outside. The short minus-haired one lived near him. He had only just noticed that recently. The other kicked its stones by the road ap's nest and late as she walked. A stone fell into a puddle, splashing water and wetting the bottom of her pants. It was a silly, self-inflicted thing. Yet she acted as if she had found the funniest thing in the world, grinning from ear to ear. Her eyes curved with laughter, like two little moons from far away. Shen Yujinji felt dazed. Had she drunk that sour plum juice? He wondered. He silently turned on his desk lamp and began his homework. Soon it was September. Senior year had just begun. The college expansion policy had lifted everyone's spirits. For the first time, the teacher conducted a survey on students' university preferences. Everyone, whether serious or not, wrote down the names of a few schools earnestly. Only Chen Jiaoyi scribbled to bold characters whatever. Unsurprisingly, old Chen gave her a good beating. When it came to certain things, adults simply could not stand children being too honest.